clarity and all that. All right, this is the October web dev meeting. So let's share my screen there. Oh my gosh, probably that one, maybe. Does that look like an OPAC kind of?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so I've redone the header here. I guess I can bring up my current one. So this is what it currently looks like. I can't show you what it looked like after the upgrade, but it was basically really messy. So
was mine.
Yeah. So I've been working on this. So I was just trying to figure out where stuff was. That's what these are. Just to see what all those new thingies over here, where all of those live.
Mhm.
So that's not going to be there, and the search and all that. So I redid the bar a little bit. This is a little cleaner than it was before. I've redone the footer. I had that members thing up here. So I have this hidden, so it's just advanced search because I wanted that to be the focus down there by the search bar. And I moved the rest of this stuff up here. And that's the same as the old one. But the members thing was a recent addition, so I kind of just shoved that up there too. I changed my mind on that, so I put it down, the direct link down here. And then I also made a map down there, because before it was like a list of my libraries, and then you had to click to get to the map. So I thought that was a nicer look there. And then I've been also trying to pay better attention to the responsiveness. So whenever I make a change, I've been double checking on the mobile view. One thing I found was this little house here is like hard coded. It's not a font awesome icon, and it's hard coded to be black. So I went in and changed that, swapped that out with a font awesome icon that I could, so that I can make it white. And that just switches in and out with that on the mobile. And then the other thing I did with that same bit of jQuery is just get rid of the map and change it to a link on mobile, so it's a little cleaner. I think that's where I'm at right now. I'm also kind of trying to end my reliance on custom style sheets at this point. I think the only things I'm doing on the OPAC are bringing in the series and then bringing in like the formatting from the, I want to say the 007. So I'm leveraging like the 007 to get this to show up, and I want to try and not do that anymore because the style sheets suck to keep updated. The XSLT does. So working on that, and then also I'll probably be working on rebuilding this menu so it works a little better too. And I may relocate on that on the page. I haven't decided yet.
But so far that menu is looking pretty good, it seems like, in 2105.
Yeah, this part actually came through pretty well.
Nice.
It was just I don't know, I took a screenshot, I guess, because I was showing Christopher why it was scary. Let me see if I can find that. And it wasn't like terrible. You can't really see much on this. Did that pop up, or am I just sharing my Chrome?
We still just see the test OPAC site.
Let me change the share. Oh, my controls are over there. There's my whole screen, so that should show it. So it's obnoxious yellow because that's what I put in the background to know that it was my test server, but also the header bar didn't have a background color anymore. You can't see the footer on there, but the footer was all kind of exploded out, and the search bars messed up. So that was what it looked like immediately after we upgraded. But it's getting better. It's been a learning experience.
Wish I'd taken a screenshot of mine.
Yeah. Was it worse than that?
It was pretty bad.
I think that a lot of the OPECs, when you initially pull them up on 2105, look really bad, and then just a couple little tweaks to CSS and JavaScript can really just like change. Like it's usually not as bad as it looks on the initial look.
Yeah, and mine wasn't. I mean, it hasn't been terrible. Like I said, the thing that's slowing me down the most is like adding in those changes that I've been wanting to add in anyways. So
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Let's see, what else do I have? Did we want to talk about OPACs anymore? Anything else?
Barbara, yours is your production OPAC is on 2105 now. How's everything?
It seems fine. Haven't had any issues that I know of. I've got a few things that I've done sort of custom that I still need to go back in and clean up on like a phone view because they're kind of funky. But for the most part, I think it's pretty good. We've been just having issues with other things like the 500 errors and, things that titles that ended in an exclamation point that wouldn't show. And so those weird things that seem to be happening. So once I got the,
those are not OPEC problems, right? Or you're talking
well, we had a problem with if you had a title where the 245A ended in an exclamation point, which a lot of our Launchpad things do. If you clicked on it, either in the OPAC or the user interface, it would just give you a 500 error, but that's been patched. The latest thing I have come across is it seems like if we have a title, and they all seem to be James Patterson titles, my examples. If you have a title like 6th target, so it's 6th, when you try to get to it, you get the 500 error. If you search for just 6th, it's fine. But if you add a word, you get this 500 error. If you try searching for the 6th target, even though the is not in the bib record, it's fine. So it seems like there's some weird something going on with numerals and letters combined at the beginning. So I opened a ticket on that one.
What's your search engine?
It should be Elasticsearch.
Okay.
So that was a new little weird quirky thing that happened. Trying to think if there's anything else.
I think I can't get into a detail view at all on my test server. We have 500 errors on every record. I haven't opened a ticket about that yet.
Every single record, huh?
Yeah. Doesn't matter what I'm searching. But we may not have that patch that Barbara mentioned.
If you want, I can try to tell you what that error says.
Sure. I think I set the style sheets to default everywhere because I was trying to get rid of those. I don't think it's that. Yeah.
If I'm tailing your log right now, so if you want to make that internal server error happen, I can. Oh, that's a bunch of stuff.
Just clicked it.
Oh, it spit out a bunch of stuff, but the most relevant part is probably something about collection codes not being covered by tests. what happens on. Ooh, I wonder hidden in OPAC. You're clicking on the details page on the OPAC or the staff client?
The OPAC. I just clicked on the staff client because I was checking the collection code there, but the
I would
error is only
maybe-
coming up in the OPAC.
I would maybe check your, if there's something weird or something wrong, or even just try deleting everything in your OPAC hidden items for a sec and see if that helps at all. Do you have collection codes in there, perhaps?
Yeah, there's one in there. I'll take it out and see. Yeah, that fixed it.
I wonder if I would examine that collection code that's in OPAC hidden items. Is there something that's not an actual collection code, perhaps?
It's ILL, which is a collection code, but it's also yeah, it's listed as, yeah, that's one that we've been using. I mean, it's what we use for our temporary ILL records, so that they don't show up in the OPAC.
And it seems to be that if you just take the ILL one out, everything works.
Well, I took out the whole collection code line because that's the only one that we're suppressing there.
Oh, I see.
I guess I could try putting something else in there as a collection code and see. Yeah, it worked with, I just put in our adult book collection code and it didn't break anything.
So something to that particular one. Well, send us a ticket if you can't figure it out. At least we kind of know why it's happening now.
Yeah. Well, I just resaved it and it seems to be fine now. So
Oh, even with the ILL?
yeah, I wonder if that system preference just needed a kick or something.
That system preference is a YAML system preference, and YAML is picky. So sometimes if there was like a space, it can get thrown off easy, and then it does weird things to your OPAC.
Good to know. Well, I'm glad we fixed that before I got upgraded on live.
While y'all were doing that, I searched my titles, 6th Target and 7th Heaven and whatever else Patterson wrote, and everything seems fine now. So
Sounds like maybe you got a patch that you didn't have before.
I don't know, or I took the day off and I closed down my computer and things got, I don't know, reset.
Yeah, give your computer a day off and then
Yeah.
a little happier the next day.
I see Tasha joined us. We've just been talking about OPAC-y stuff. Tasha, if there's anything you want to talk about, or the floor is open.
No, thank you. I was really upset. I missed the first 15 minutes because I was busy with work. Thanks for the update.
Sure. You got anything else, Barbara?
I'm trying to rack my brain for something. I'm sure there's something.
I've got kind of a weird, I guess it's probably not really web devy, but a weird behavior thingy going on in my staff client. Let me pull up an example. I did open a ticket on this, but I guess it's weird because it's not presenting everywhere. looking at it and it's not showing up for her, but it's showing up for me. And I tried it on some different things. So just do my whole screen again. You can see my mess. So on this screen specifically, when I click on here, I don't get the full list. And it's the same when I'm placing a hold. I did do this in my, that's weird.
Is it?
On my test server, it's doing the same thing for me. So,
It
and I
just
took out
does.
all my jQuery on the test server. So I don't think it's my jQuery doing it.
I think I know what this is, Jason, but I am spacing on the name of the system preference. So give me a sec. So I think because the API now returns all the valid pickup locations, there is a system preference. What is it called?
I don't really need that extra job description.
So basically, it will only return a certain amount of lines. And I bet you that system preference is set to that number, and then it's stopping showing you any more. Sorry, I'll find it.
That's okay.
I thought it was called max something, but I'm not seeing it there.
I know it's cutting off at 20. It wouldn't be facets, would it?
Okay, try go look at your system preferences and look for REST default page size.
Yep, 20.
Yeah, I bet you that you just need to set that to as high as the number of results you have or number of branches you have.
Yep, there they are. Sweet. Okay, I have to put on live. I wondered if it was something like that because it was odd that it was cutting off at such an exact number
Right.
every time. And it does a little like Ajaxy looking load thing.
Yep.
Okay. What else? Do I have other things to talk about while I'm sharing my screen?
I
Oh,
do have a question about
sure.
let's see what this is on. This is in the staff interface on holds. And let's see if I can share. Do you see my hold screen?
Yeah.
So at the top, the pickup location defaults to the pickup window, which is what we want. But down here, if we want to do an item level, we always have to choose the pickup location. And there's only one location that we allow for pickup.
And so it's defaulting to blank.
It's defaulting to blank. And I think I've seen it where if I have multiple items, some of them have pickup window filled in and some are blank, but I'm not sure about that.
So the way this now works is the main drop down, the pickup at in the bib level up there will always try to default to the logged in librarian location. And the new item level allowed pickup location one will default to the home library of that item. If it's a valid pickup location, if it's not a valid pickup location, it defaults to that blank one. I have a couple tickets right now from several folks who, for different reasons, don't like some of the changes that have happened here.
Yeah,
I need to talk with our dev team about how we can best change this going forward. But what's probably happening is the home library is not a pickup location.
right.
And so it's defaulting to blank. But there's also a good chance now for sort of like user error here because one, like you might click that little radio box and say, I'm doing an item level hold and think that you're doing the pickup at the pickup window because that's what it says, but it's actually picking it up from that allowed pickup location on that other drop down. Seems like
Well,
a bit of a problem.
I think you get this. So I can't tell you how many minutes I sat there and saying my pickup location is the pickup until I realized, oh, I had to choose it down here. And we're doing a lot of cleanup of, we've done our chapter books. We've moved it into early chapter books, and tween fiction. So we've got staff placing tons of holds on specific items to try and get them back in order to label them and move their location and that kind of stuff. And so I could think that's how we discovered it. Can it be
Like-
jQueried to make it have pickup window
Well, and
default there?
I have a ticket where I have not worked out this jQuery yet, but I will have to at some point, which is to hide that allowed the item level one and then also just have it listen to the main one and try to just mimic it. So if you change your pickup from pickup window to Bedford, then it would change the item level ones to behind the scenes because they would be hidden. So that's something I've been asked to work on, which is a jQuery solution, which I don't know if we probably, like I said, I'd like to talk to our dev team about a more permanent solution here that suits various libraries' needs. And this depends on what kind of library system you have, how you want this to work. So I'm aware there are some problems here, or there's some things that librarians don't like. So we'll be addressing those soon.
Have you come up with other issues that seem to be, common among libraries that they're running into?
I think that the biggest issue is that now that both those drop downs go to the API, which determines valid pickup locations. And the biggest issue I've faced so far is just the change in behavior that people are surprised by what it calculates as valid pickup locations and what it does not. And I don't know what's right and what's wrong. I just know a lot has changed there, and it's surprising to people when they get upgraded.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing is the calculation of pickup locations. And what we just went over, which is the setting of them to different things on those separate drop downs. Confusing.
Something to look forward to.
Would that jQuery that I just described help you, Barbara? If we hit it and then set it to whatever the main one was, so that you were just never looking at that item level one?
Yeah, I mean, right now we've got, we're doing a weird thing because our home library is Bedford, but we're only allowing pickup through our pickup window. So we're transferring things from the home library, checking it in at Bedford, and then we're transferring it to the pickup window. And that's the only available pickup location. So from our view, it's like, why would it, if that's the only pickup location, why wouldn't everything just, default to the only location that we allow? That's the way we would look at it.
Oh, yeah. So it seems like in your case, then we could write more jQuery specific to that situation and just always set it to that one pickup location.
I did find my other question, but it looks like it's right around 12:30. So I think it's going to take a ticket anyways for you, Lucas.
Yeah,
It's about
yeah.
querying the or using the API for the series stuff. So
Yeah, but please do put a ticket in, and I do have to run, so
sure.
enjoy the rest of it. And happy Halloween.
Thanks. You too.
So what was your issue with the series, Jason?
All right, so I can show you. This is a mess too. So right now I'm using the XSLT to bring in the series on the search results because we wanted that to be clickable and searchable directly from the search results. And I'm trying to get away from that because, like I said, they're a pain.
Yeah.
Let me find my share. So let's see, it's here somewhere. Okay, so here's the jQuery I'm using, which is this is what Lucas shared before on how to do the series, but he was just looking at one field. So I think it was the 490, but we have series information in the 490 and the 440. So I tried to make it look at that, and then if it doesn't have 490, look at that, which mostly works. So let me go back to my search results here. So it's pulling this in, which is great. I got that one twice and that one twice, so not so great. But then I'm also having an issue where it doesn't pull in. Maybe I'm not having that issue anymore. There was a situation where, like, if it didn't have a 440 V, then it wouldn't pull anything in at all. Like it would pull it if it had a 490A, a 490 AV, or a 440 AV, but no 440. But now it looks like I'm getting dupes, which is a different problem that I haven't had before. So, because yeah, this is what it like. It would pull a 440A, a 440 AV, and a 490 AV, but not a 490A without a V. And all of our electronic resource records come in without that V, just because we're pulling them straight from Cloud Library. So those were coming in without a series at all.
I don't know if what I've got is different from yours, and I worked on it a while back, so I can't remember exactly what wasn't and what was working at that time, but I had him help me with it.
And you're probably not seeing duplication like I am.
I'm not, well, let me make sure.
I bet my problem with the duplication is the style sheets. I don't think I turned those off on the staff client. No, I did. I wonder if it's in there twice. I just copied and pasted this all back in because I had it taken out. All right, I don't know. Getting that twice. I don't know. This is messy and I haven't looked at it in a minute, so I'm not sure what I was doing. So I'll stop my share.
Yeah, I may have to look at mine again to make sure I'm really getting everything coming across. But yeah, it was only showing one, and my This is my jQuery from a while back, so I haven't looked at it to see. But it's got the 490A. And before I did this, I went through and I tried to update a lot of things and get rid of a lot of 440s and make 490s, and some records only had 800s, but no 490s. And
Mhm.
so I know we didn't capture everything, but at least it brought something in for the that view.
Yeah, and
It's pretty much the same, or
it's pretty similar. Your if line is in a little different place. But yeah, I think the problem I'm having is I'm trying to pull from two different fields, and that may be why I'm duplicating two.
I do remember when we were working this out, we had some duplication. So
Well, I closed the ticket, so I get to open a new ticket, right?
but I'm going to go back and look at ours and make sure that it's really bringing in, it's really picking up series where it should be, because it may not be now.
Yeah, like I said, the main issue I was having is if it doesn't have a complete 440, then it wasn't pulling it at all. But now I seem to have an opposite problem where it pulls it too much. So that's interesting. Trying to think of other things I've worked on since we last met. We didn't really have a meeting last month because it was squashed together with sysadmin. I guess the easiest thing to do is look at my JavaScript syspref and see what's in there, huh? Oh, I did I don't know if you were at the consortia SIG meeting. We talked about putting ourselves in as targets on the Z targets so that to avoid duplicates. I did that. It threw a bunch of errors. Like whenever it sees results in our catalog, it just puts errors. It doesn't actually bring back the result. I don't know if that's what's supposed to happen, but I just used those errors to make like a little possible duplicate warning on that page.
I know I've got mine set up as a target. I don't generally search. It's set up, but I don't generally have it, checked to search. But I did get the record. So it's working as expected here.
Wonder. Oh, mine's not working at all now. Or we don't have Harry Potter in our catalog, which seems suspect. I guess everything's just breaking on me today. It knows that I'm being recorded, so I can't. I also started working on my library facet, which is another thing that came up with the consortia SIG. Just to have at the very top of the facets, that's not really a facet, but it'll filter the search down to just that logged in branch.
Oh.
And it's not working yet either. It gets really weird when you try to, it works, but then it gets really weird when you try to remove it because it creates another like it adds to the URL instead of subtracting. It's like you had this limit, we took this limit away, you have this limit, we took it away, that kind of thing. So it's a little odd. Still working on that. And let's see. I think those are the main things besides the whole massaging on the OPAC. I did write some jQuery, different jQuery for that. Mostly just for that. Oh, one thing I didn't mention was that the search history. I made an adjustment there too. I've been trying to make notes of all these like tweaks I'm making just so that I can put in bug tickets. But the search history doesn't get the same treatment as the other stuff up here. It doesn't have its own icon, so I went ahead and added one and then made it collapse down when you go to the mobile view. So it's got its own icon there. I took away the delete your history thing from this view, and that only shows up when you're not logged in. I think when you're logged in, this guy becomes a drop-down menu. I also have this weird margin problem.
I do too.
Okay.
Things are looking not centered, and I have our normal OPAC has a blue background, but on the mobile phone view, I've taken that away and it's all white, but it feels like there's this extra white margin on that right side.
Only
some
on
things
mobile or everywhere?
Just on the mobile view, I think.
Yeah, that seems to be where my problem is too. And I stretched the footer out, so I wondered if that was causing the problem. But I don't think it is. Like for the footer, I added extra margin because the footer doesn't span the whole thing. Oh, where's the other one? So we take away those, then we get the space on either side. Oops. But on mobile, it just makes that space wider, I think. Yeah. But it does get rid of the jiggle from side to side. So maybe that is my problem.
And that was, where was that?
So those, I added extra margin to the bottom in my CSS. And it's just those, oh, that's what I wanted. It's so the main footer is a div within the credits news item that I made. Gotcha. So I made two separate, one for the sub footer and one for the main footer. So I was adding margin to like this, which is within one of those credit things. So this. And if I add like a negative margin on both sides, then it stretches it the full length of the page, but it still gives me that extra space here. And it causes the page to jiggle. Like it's creating extra space.
I don't like jiggly pages.
Me neither. But I think it must be that footer section that's causing it, because when I take it away, it doesn't do the jiggle anymore. And up here, I thought I had changed something so that it would stretch across as well, but I don't have any extra CSS there. But it seems like when I first, maybe not, because I didn't have a background on it when it first changed. I wonder if we can tell on the demos page. The demo site hasn't been upgraded though. So there's no extra styles on that. Okay, this is where I added the extra styles. So there is extra space on the old OPAC that's not there on the new OPAC.
Okay.
Because it was this one, and I didn't add an extra styles there. So I don't know.
Now, did you say that you on the footer, did you say that you've got like two different entries?
So
So,
I put so this block is in one and then this block. See that I didn't take the margin or put the margin back on this one.
okay,
So the jiggle is still there because I put the margin back on this one. But if I take the margin off again, then the jiggle goes away. Yeah, so it's got to be that. So I need to find a better way to do that, I guess. Are you stretching your footer out?
I have actually, like on the desktop view, my margins, like where your light blue is there, my margins are wider. So I have to go in and adjust everything to bring it in a little bit so it shows more of a, let's see.
I'll let you show yours if you want.
So it's wider over here. So sometimes I'm not sure why we did that, but I think we wanted to have the contrast of this blue with the other blues. And I don't know. And so I had to, adjust all that. But when, I'm making everything smaller, I have to go in and adjust every single piece, this and this and this. Everything has to change a little bit for things to line up. So it's a huge pain.
Yeah, my old OPEC was like that. I'm trying to adapt to the new one because I don't like the new one. It doesn't have as many. It doesn't feel like it has any layers. So like your dark blue section, I have like a pattern on that on the old OPEC, but
right.
And then there was like a white section in front of it, but on the new OPEC, that white section is gone. Like when I upgraded, you saw that screenshot where it was all yellow. Like there's a whole layer there missing, it felt like. But I don't know if I really want to put it back.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to work around it,
Yeah.
Yeah, yours doesn't jiggle. I brought it up on my computer, but it does have that wider margin on the right.
On the mobile view.
Yeah. Yeah, so yours doesn't go back and forth, but it's not. Something's creating that extra space on the right.
But sometimes the this view, it'll work, I'll do something and it's like, okay, I think that's going to work. But when I actually look at it on my phone, it's like, well, that doesn't look so great. There may still be a jiggle there, or it's the wrong, it's cutting something off, or, but yeah, there is because that doesn't span all the way across right there.
Yeah, it seems like the whole body of it doesn't take up the whole space, which is problematic, I guess. I don't know how to fix that.
And I often don't know what I'm doing. I'm just hunt and peck and poke and change it and see if it works. And then if I get the result I want, I go with it.
Oh yeah, same here. That's why I have a lot of CSS, and it was mostly just me not knowing what I was doing when we first started out, and I was teaching myself CSS while customizing our OPAC.
I did go through. I felt it, even though it was frustrating to have to make all the changes and everything from Bootstrap 3 to 4. I was able to go through and test a lot of things and realize, I don't need this anymore. This is obsolete. And I was able to do a little bit of organizing and putting like things together. So hopefully, and comment a lot of things.
Mhm.
So that was valuable.
Yeah, I'm counting this change as a blessing because I get to clean things up and repent for my past CSS sins, that sort of thing. Uh, take stuff out, keep it, get it a little cleaner. And I didn't, when I redid our OPAC the first time, I didn't know anything about jQuery either. Like CSS was easy, jQuery was confusing. So
Yes.
I'm able to go in and like make it better with jQuery, like the flipping icons and the taking the map away and putting it on, that sort of thing. Since I have a better foundation there, I think I'm gonna have a better product by the time I'm done.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably switch to Aspen and it won't matter because because I spend all the time on the OPAC that no one will use. But that's okay.
So Tasha, what's going on at Boeing? Have you upgraded yet?
No, so we're trying to, we're migrating away from our COTS product onto Koha, and we've been engaged in this project for about a year. And then most recently, we were struggling because any type of web report will take down the whole server if it's a really long, crazy web report. And we were, just thinking this is our fault. We have something configured wrong. We have the same CPUs as our old server. And it turns out that was the wrong line of thinking. We need more CPUs. So we're going to request 4 more and then see where that brings us. And we're hoping to go live by the end of the calendar year. But
Okay.
there's so much work to do. There's just so much work to do. I need to do, create a lot of a few mark modification templates first. And what else? Who knows? I have a whole list. I need to set up the OCLC gateway. And in any case, these meetings and the conference have been instrumental for getting a few quick wins, like changing the default search index from patrons to like search the catalog when staff first log in, for instance. So I'm trying to do everything at once by myself.
Yeah.
Well, know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
We're out here to help you.
So do you think you really have a chance of going with Aspen, Jason?
More than I have in the past. It's really just a funding thing at this point.
Yeah,
And I
us
think
too.
that my new boss is more on board with it than my old boss was. So she's looking into ways we can maybe get it funded. I'm still a little nervous about it just because of the way it's developed, I guess. I know that Mark talked at the conference about how it's on a faster development cycle and they don't really have a bug tracker yet and stuff like that. I'd like to see some of that more fleshed out before we switch, but at the same time, I really want that fervorization because I think that would, like, that's the biggest reason I've wanted it all along.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't seem like an unstable product. I
Right.
mean, people are adopting it left and right. It just makes me a little nervous. And like when we first talked to him back in Pueblo, he said it was open source, and I'm like, okay, I'll go look at the code. I'll see what it takes. Maybe I can set it up on my own server and play with it. And it just felt like it wasn't as open as it could be.
Okay.
But those are just small reservations, I think. I think we're still pretty keen on switching over if we can find the money to do it.
Yeah, and I do feel like, seems like so many libraries are going that route. Then I start to feel like we're an outlier with original Koha code. And we just had a fairly largest group, about 8 or 10 libraries that are in this area come up, and they're on Aspen, and then McKinney is going, and Round Rock went, and so I'm starting to feel like we're
falling behind a little, but I also feel bad. I mean, like, well, the OPAC was my baby to begin with. I mean, that was one of my major projects that I was always working on, and I feel like I'm losing some control if we switch to OPAC or Aspen.
I feel that way too. When I've looked at it, I've thought, okay, there's a lot of great things in there, but there's also some things, and I can't even say what they would be now, but some things I thought, well, I'm not sure I would really want it to be quite like that. And I'm not sure that, there's any ability to, go in and change things the way we can with jQuery and CSS in Koha. And so it feels like it might be a little bit of, lack of control over a few things, but it does bring the Ferberization and more filters of things like date filters and stuff, which I think would be really good. And then, they talked about like additional pages where you could possibly even set things up, and it could be your, you could add pages and it could be your website. So I do think there's a lot, going on there that's really nice.
Yeah, I just wish it was more integrated with I wish it was like being added to the Koha instead of being a separate product.
Yeah, I think my boss's thing, she was like, oh, that's really great, and we looked at it and got the quote and everything, and she's like, but we went away from another ILS in order to save money on annual costs, and so she's not really looking to add another annual something.
Yeah, and it's not cheap.
No.
I mean, kind of like relative to our Koha bill, it's
right.
Pretty substantial, which is the main reason we haven't switched yet. But yeah, no, and I know there's a dev ticket out there to get Ferberization into Koha, and I'm like, let's do that. Just dump our $10,000 into that instead. But
yeah,
but then we're not getting all that extra stuff.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm glad we share feelings about it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's always improving. Maybe it'll get those jQuery sysprefs before we get there, and we'll have more control over it, or we can find ways to use it while not totally using it. I don't know. Integrate it into the Koha OPAC ourselves.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm out of ranting and I've exhausted my topics for the month. Let's see. Are there things I should be giving spiels on? It used to be at the conference. We're having the Giving Tuesday thing on Giving Tuesday, which is November 30th. We haven't gotten a lot of questions in on that yet, so if either of you have something you want the education committee to cover, there's a form you can fill out that we're accepting questions on. And that's going to be like late morning, early afternoon, depending on where you're at, for 2 hours.
Is that an event? I haven't heard of Giving Tuesday, or don't know what.
So
what it is.
yeah, so Giving Tuesday is like a global initiative. It's always the Tuesday after Black Friday. So it's to remind people to give back to charity, community, that sort of thing. So it's a sort of global initiative. And we had originally, koha-US is a 501c3, so we got signed up for being in the Giving Tuesday directory or whatever. We were going to use that as sort of our Kohathon day. That was Todd's dream, was to have our Kohathon on that day as sort of a fundraising event. So we're trying to sort of revive that idea with just a small 2-hour Q&A panel where people can ask us questions, we'll answer it, and then remind them about Giving Tuesdays as an initiative, and that sort of thing. We don't really have it totally planned out yet, but it was mostly just to remind people about that. And we do have, I think I put something up on the front page of the website, and if you just go to givingtuesday.org, you can learn about it.
Thanks. I'm like, it totally sounded like, I'm like, that must be like, sounds like a charity thing, but I wasn't understanding the intersection with koha. I'm like, okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's tough for us to raise funds. So we like grab onto what we can, but it's less about sending us money, but more about like building community, I think, about giving back expertise as well as financially if you can, because money is what lets us do developments and that sort of thing. So we were trying to make sort of a connection between education and fundraising with it this year. So that's coming up, and that's really the biggest thing on my radar, other than elections. Tasha, if you want to be on the board, we feel free to put in your nomination.
All right. It looks like you're out of time. I have a quick question.
Sure.
Okay. Koha or koa?
Oh
Like,
gosh.
I always say koha, and then I realize, wait, what is everyone else saying? I don't even know if I'm saying this right.
I'm pretty sure Chris Cormack says koha, but I say koa because I'm from Southeast Kansas and it just slurs. What do you say, Barbara?
I say koha.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think it's koha. So don't listen to me.
And it's not in all caps.
Oh yeah.
I still have staff
Educate some of
who,
my coworkers.
yeah, I still have
Okay.
staff who put it in all caps.
All right, we've come full circle, I guess. So I think we can call this one a wrap if there's no other discussion.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Have a
Sure,
great
thanks
day.
for coming.